Back live here in the studio at Viewpoint. Our very special guest this morning is Karen Nocera, who has served your community in numerous ways, and most importantly right now is a trustee at the University of Illinois, and that's got to be a tough job, Mrs. Busby, particularly with the economy that we're working with. The State Register had a State Journal, I guess now, had a feature article about the new president, and Karen was on the search committee for the new president, and he talked about the fact that the state still owes us some $130 million. There's a lot more than that by now by the time this article was printed.
Yes, and that's actually for last year's
last year.
So we haven't even, of course, gotten anything for the fiscal year that began on July 1. And we're cut $46 million in this fiscal year over what we got last year.
You've cut $46 million.
Mm-hmm.
That takes some kind of paring.
Right. So, I mean, we're really just starting to look at all the changes that are going to have to be made. We have identified some, but we're in the process of really looking at everything, and there are going to have to be a lot of changes.
Those sorts of things are this reactivity is imperative in education, in the cities, in the states, all up and down the line, because everybody's broke. Everybody was counting on X number of dollars from the next guy up the food chain, and people aren't getting it. Entities aren't getting it at all. What's the answer? Do we have to, instead of react, do we have to act? Something has to start at the top, I'm afraid. You can't, as a board, do anything more than you have money to do.
That's correct, and I happen to be one of the people who don't think looking at these things is all bad. I think, out of a crisis, a lot of good can come. And it was funny, when I was mayor, I used to say it's almost as bad to have lots of money available to spend as it is not to, because people understand now. When you say, no, I can't do that, people are going through the same thing in their families, and they understand that when you don't have it, you have to look at ways to make it through.
Yeah, how many homes was
when the economy's thriving and you're flush with money, deciding how to spend it, all good purposes certainly, you still get twice as many requests as you have the money to spend, whether times are flush or not. So it sounds very strange, but I never think it's all bad to be looking at yourself, and like you say, everyone is being required to do that now.
I'd like to ask you, another board of directors that you serve on at this time is the U.S. Center for Citizen Diplomacy. I don't know that. Would you please give us a thumbnail sketch there, please?
That's one
you
of
didn't
my...
know about that? Everybody knows about that.
That's one of my favorite things I'm doing, although I have to say, since I got on the U of I board, I haven't been able to participate as much as I'd like. But this started from a group that I actually got involved with as a part of a program when I was mayor. Because we're the home of Abraham Lincoln in Springfield, we get lots of international visitors, and we got involved in a program in Ukraine where we assisted Ukraine in, and they assisted us, I have to say, in helping them once they became a free country, knowing how to be a democracy. It was a wonderful program. Through that, I met a lot of people from around the country, and we, in I think 2004, got together and said our country's reputation is dropping in the world. We know that the only way we're going to get along is by people-to-people relationships rather than government to government, which doesn't work as well. And so we formed a group, and we actually based ourselves in Des Moines. We didn't want to be in Washington, D.C. We wanted to be in the middle of the country.
That's the middle.
And we did a lot of things in a lot of communities around the country to say, what is diplomacy? Our motto was, every citizen a diplomat. And we wanted to show people how they can be diplomats by doing simple things in their own communities. You can go a lot farther than that by traveling and taking international visitors in this country. So we've done a lot of things to just bring knowledge to the citizens of our country about how important it is that we learn about other countries and get to know people from other countries. And so this November, we're sponsoring something that we've worked on since we started, and it's an international meeting in Washington, D.C. on citizen diplomacy. There'll be a lot of different seminars and programs on how we can improve our efforts worldwide in getting along with each other. So it's been a wonderful experience.
That's great.
Excuse me, Judy. I'm sorry, honey.
I was going to say that I see you went to Russia, and among other things, you explored economic development. And another friend of ours is on the Federal Reserve Board, and he went to Russia shortly after they tore down that wall. And he said it was quite a challenge from the economic standpoint.
It's such an interesting place. I've been, I think, 4 times now.
Really?
Bloomington Normal has a sister city. It's a pretty large city, but it's not Moscow or St. Petersburg, so it's out. And we have done a lot of work in this city. It's a wonderful city. And every city in Russia is trying to widen its economic development and its tourism, because it's a beautiful place and it's a wonderful place for tourists. And so they asked for help from the sister city, and that's how I got involved because of our Convention and Visitors Bureau. We try to help them. It's very difficult. They don't know how to get along because they were...
With whom?
Each other. They need to combine forces. But you have to look at their history and see why they're so afraid,
Right.
to do these things. And of course, they've never had to market themselves. They didn't matter, whether they were good to their customers or not. So there are lots and lots of challenges, but they are motivated to do better. But it's going to take at least another generation.
I think it's important we know who our trustees are, and there seems to be a movement to inform the electorate as to who is representing them on the university. Unfortunately, you drew a short straw. Is that how you drew that? Your term will expire in 2011. I hope that doesn't mean that your term of service will be over for the state. And I'm not asking any questions right now.
No, I hope it doesn't either. But
Good.
Of course, the governor reappoint. I actually asked for a short term. I didn't know I was going to like this so much. And once I got into it, I think it's important people know trustees are not paid.
Yes.
Although we have lots of support services from the university. But I'm just loving it. It's difficult, especially these times, but it's a wonderful experience, and I do hope actually that I can stay on.
Well, we really appreciate your fact that you would come to visit with us today as opposed to using Ma Bell. We always like to close Viewpoint with a quote. And this one was by William Allen White, that great educator and newspaper guy out in Emporia, Kansas. And old Bill White said, "In education, we're striving not to teach youth to make a living, but to make a life." Thank you for Viewpoint.